Alrighty, good evening, everyone. If everyone can hear me, wave. Alrighty, that sounds good. That sounds good. Well, I was thinking about mediumship tonight, and it was going through my mind about a lot of things about mediumship and what people perceive as mediumship, what people perceive as trance, what some people refer to as psychic. I mean, there's a whole bunch of divisions, and I see people really they have all kinds of ways of believing. And I can share with you how I believe and feel. And the first thing I like to do is just go ahead and say the next show we have, the next class we have will be on the 23rd of July. It'll be July 23rd, and it'll be 7 o'clock. And we'll be broadcasting from Lilydale again. And my website would be www.rev, R-E-V, Gregory Kehn, Kehn.com. And the phone number to reach for an appointment would be 716 595 3529. 716 595 3529. As I was saying about the mediumship, I see a lot of people that put all kinds of divisions in things, and they'll talk about all the dimensions they work with and all the dimensions they work through. And I find that I want to keep it simple. And I look at the idea of praying to God, asking God to guide me. And spirit world is ordained by God to work through me. And they are the messengers and guidance in our life. I know there's a lot of different religious belief systems in the world. And a lot of them will speak of either guardian angels or guardians in some form, protectors in some form. And I know that it really works. I've had it happen. I've had spirit come through to me a few times and tell me I was working him overtime. So I've had that happen in the past, especially when I was a kid. There were things I would do that I felt very confident in, which worked out fine. But I think the guardian angels were getting a little worried. And work with the mediumship, I have a lot of people say that they're in trance, and I've watched a few people that claim to be in trance and supposedly teach in trance. And in reality, they were no more in trance than anybody sitting talking. And I find that people really don't understand it. I grew up in it, and I was aware of it from when I was a child. We had a number of mediums around us. They were true trance mediums and would step into a trance state. And when they'd step into the trance state, we would have trumpet materialization, and we'd have materialization, spirit would appear. And there's things like that are so real. And I honestly have not seen that in a number of years now. And I've seen some people that claim to be physical mediums, and they talk about doing a dark circle, and they have not meaning in a negative way, but it's a dark circle meaning just dark, and that they would ask spirit to come through. And I've seen some things like that where it's been faked or manipulated, or at least their perception of what trance would be was way from what I believe and I've experienced. And then people talk about being psychic, and then it's psychic, and then mediumistic. And I would say it this way: in my mind, it's very hard to divide it up and say which one is which and who's functioning at what level. Now, yes, you can psychically pick up on people and read the emotions or read their body language or things like that. I've had a lot of people do that. And I teach a class in Fellowship of the Spirit, and they're taught to study the person. Where are they looking? How are they moving? What actions? What do they do with their head while they're talking to someone? And where's their eyesight? And I find that there's quite a few of them get really mind boggled a bit because I can read any position and in any way that my head would move or eyes would move or whatever. And I find that there's a lot of people out there. We do have standards that we pick up on, and like looking to the lower right, I find myself connecting with spirit to the lower right. I also find myself looking up and to the left. And there's just things that we access by how we really look. And we're doing it in our brain, but our physical body's reacting to it. And I also believe, too, with healing, that it's very similar. When we're working with healing, we're setting the intent, and we're allowing ourselves to work with that intent to build an energy and a flow of energy that then continues to grow and flow for us. I've watched a lot of people that at times have had the belief that they're in trance, and I've had a few of them where far from it. And I remember Dana Bailey, my teacher and instructor, since I was probably about 7.5, 8 years old. And I would be driving along in a car, and I was, an adult afterwards, and I'm driving along in the car, and he's in the middle seat in the van, and his Indian would come through, and he'd go in trance, give me a message of guidance, and I would follow it. He took us right around a jackknife truck in the middle of winter on the route to Cleveland, and we went to the left and turned to the right and turned to the right again and came out about 50 yards north of it on the road we had been on. And it was something where it was just total guidance. And we need to realize that when we're working with our mediumship, that sometimes it comes in really subtly and easily, and we don't really have to think about it. It's just there. And there's other times where as soon as we start to analyze it or in a conscious level try to push it to happen, we end up a little bit of turmoil, then it doesn't work as well. I use the adage of the ball floating in the pool. If we're tiptoeing towards it, we very gently put our hand under it, we can pick it right up. But if we charge at it swimming, it's going to be carried away by the wake. And we do create wakes in the energy. It's just like water. We create a wake and it disrupts things. And I feel that the calmer we become and the more at ease with it, we set intent, but we're not putting pressure or forcefulness in trying to make it happen. When we put pressure and forcefulness, we end up in trouble with it then. We're needing to relax and allow it to be there. How many of you found yourselves at times feeling things more in tune at one moment, and another moment you feel like you're missing it? You're not getting it somehow. And when we do that, we're actually having our mind get engaged and we're debating things. And sometimes in the midst of debating things, we actually shut down their ability to reach us in a deeper way. And I find that, like sometimes we'll have moments where we'll feel things and then all of a sudden we feel disconnected. Why did it disconnect? Well, most of the time we're thinking too much about it. And as we think too much about it, it then disengages. And as soon as we create that wake, it disengages and we have to start over. I'm sure each one of you in some way have felt things, and then all of a sudden it's like you feel like you lost it. It's not there anymore. And I find that that's something that happens quite often. And, in my work, I find that I've gotten to a point with that where that very seldom happens, because usually I just step aside, and some people refer to it as like stepping out of the mind and the body and let spirit come in a more complete manner. And then the flow of energy works even better yet. And it brings a lot more peace in your life because you start to realize the trivial things we normally think about on the earth plane, they become very trivial to the point you don't even focus on them. You don't even question them. They're just not going to be there anymore. And it works for us in a wonderful way. And I know there's a few of you that have mediumship. You're working with others and giving readings and what you feel and share with others. And it's a level of confidence as we do it more and more and more. It brings the balance, it brings the harmony, and we start to have it happen in a way where it becomes an automatic thing that we're not trying to sit down and focus on. And, people take it for granted that we're not in tune. Therefore, we keep focusing on the idea of being in tune, and we create that energy field that sometimes actually restricts what spirit can give us. And we're needing to relax and know that we can allow it out, allow it to happen, and not keep doubting and progressively thinking about it. Because as we progressively think about it, we really create some difficulties in their ability to reach us. It isn't them not able to reach us, it's us being open enough to receive. I worked with healing as a child a lot, and I know that there's many times I've seen situations where you're working on someone with healing and they'll feel better. The illness seems to dissipate. The problem or pain dissipates. I've had them leave the house, walk away without getting their cane because they walked in with a cane and could hardly walk without it, and they left there with no cane, and I'd have to catch them at the door and give them their cane. And then a little later on, either the person comes back and says, well, it came back, I still have the problem, because they haven't progressed in their lesson. They haven't learned and accepted what they needed to. And that's something that we need to recognize. We can have healing that I believe would be an instantaneous level of healing. Then we also have healing that takes a while in a sense of progression. And as we have the progression, we're learning and growing and accepting, and it works out much better. But I have seen instant healing where the circumstance would be healed right there, right then, and it's gone and not to come back. But I feel that there's times when we get caught up in the karmic tie of what we're here to learn, and we're here to learn it. So we need to accept learning it. And if we notice it, okay, I'm better now, and all of a sudden comes back, what are we missing? What are we not looking at? What are we not necessarily ignoring, but we just really weren't in tune to that, and we need to be in tune to it, need to be open to it. I've worked with spirit all my life, and I find that spirit is always with us and always around us. We become detached, not spirit. And I'll say it this way, you know, I remember a guide of mine coming to me one day, and I was very frustrated over a few things in my life, and I was so frustrated that I got so wound up that I wasn't able to really feel the guidance from spirit as much and as easily as I normally would. And I heard a very loud voice, and it was a male voice, and he said, "Stop, look, and listen." And it's not the idea of the earth plane, stop, look, and listen, but it's on the spirit side, stop, look, and listen. And with sometimes, how many of us at times would have trouble just being perfectly still? Just absolutely calm our mind, focus ourselves in a neutral manner, and not feel like we have to be disrupted. We take for granted that there's some sort of stress or problem, where in reality, we don't have to have that at all. That does not have to be there. It's the physical world around us, and we're submerged in that so much that our belief system follows along with it. And when we really get out of that belief system and we're able to look at the physical, tangible world and not allow them to take a toll on us where we're slipping into their energy, we need to have our own energy and keep the independence of energy and keep our own calmness. I've seen a lot of people that if they have chaos around them, they join the chaos. And we're needing to recognize that we don't really have to join the chaos. We can have the calmness and the harmony. And I find that to be very true. Where I live in Lowydale here, I mean, everyone has different opinions in the world and what's going on. And I find it interesting the ability to separate yourself enough, which is not taken away from your sensitivity and ability, but it's stepping away from it enough that you have a true perception of it without it being influenced by the energy that's there. And it just makes a huge difference. And I look at old spiritualism where, a medium would go to someone and they would give direct information, be it a name or be it a description of someone passing or a description of a home. I've had it happen many times where spirit would take me to the home they had lived in, or at times even where they had passed away at, and spirit would come through and display everything to me about the home. I've had it happen many times in my life where a person would come in for reading, and for some reason, spirit would take me to the house or the house they grew up in, and I could explain every room, colors, even to the blanket on the bed, the bedspread. I mean, it's just amazing what they can do. I just had a lady here today that I haven't seen in a number of years, and she came back for a reading, and she said to me when we were done, she said, Greg, she goes, "I'm sorry I haven't been back sooner." I've had some turmoils in my life, and it made it very difficult. And I said, well, Spirit's here to help you because not only do they deal with the past, they deal with the present, they deal with the future. And it's something that as we become more in line with what we're feeling and sensing, we can then tap into, does it pertain to the past or the present or the future? And in many ways, it's a level of guidance in a sense of saying, how am I dealing with what's in the past? Or how am I going to handle things in the present? And what guidance I need in that? Or they warn you of circumstances coming up. There would be a circumstance where, if handled the wrong way, it would be creating disruption instead of handling it the right way and have the harmony and bring harmony to whatever chaos they'd be at hand. And we have that ability to bring harmony and calmness no matter what. I'll put it this way. My grandmother always told me that you can make things better, not always fix them to everyone's wishes and desires, but to never look at it as that's the way it is. If it's something you look at and say, well, it's very harmful or negative, it doesn't have to be that way. It can be changed. I've watched a lot of people approach things either in a fearful manner, or they'd approach things in a manner that they ignore everything and just blindly keep going. And they get themselves in a lot of problems then. But if we follow through on it, I believe all lessons is a choice on our part. Are we going to make it a mountain? Are we going to make it a speed bump? Can we go over this nice and easy and it's not a big deal? Or is it going to be something where we feel like we're climbing a mountain? And it's our choice. The more acceptance we have of the lessons and experiences we're needing to have as a lesson or experience, the more accepting we are of that, the more harmonious it really becomes. I've seen things that people looked at as being horrible, and all of a sudden there's a light going on in it, and you see the situation differently, and you work with it differently, and the changes are wonderful. So I don't ever look at things as being, quote, bad. I look at things as something that, why is it motivating us? And what lesson do we have in it? And what are we doing to learn? And the big thing is, and I find this to be so true in so many ways, it's like, where are we at in a sense of acceptance? Where do we reach a point where we're accepting what we need to change, and we're accepting the things that we can't change, and we move through them and not keep resisting, fighting, feeling sorry, being angry or upset? There's no need to be. This is what we need to learn. And on the earth plane, that's what we're here for. We're here to learn and grow and progress. And I think it's very important for all of us to accept that we don't know all our lessons on a conscious basis. And at a soul level, I'll put it in this level, it's like we have two brains. There's a conscious brain and there's a spiritual brain. And the spiritual awareness and brain is something that, as a soul, we know what we're here for, and we know these lessons are there, and we're needing to accept and move through them. And on a conscious level, we have this free will feeling, and then we go, well, I want or I don't want, or I like or I don't like, and we start ignoring things. And then we wonder why things get mucked up and we have more problems. And that's what's really going on with most cases with everyone, is that we sometimes push things away and don't want to really look at it and understand what we're here for. As we understand more, we allow that to happen, and it works very well for you. I'd like to go to Kitty for a moment.
Cat.
Cat?
Hang on. Okay.
All righty, you can hear me? Do you have your volume on?
Well, she's unmuted, but I can't hear her.
I can't hear you there.
Can you hear me?
Now we can hear you.
Okay, I had to unplug and replug.
Okay. One of the things around you that I was feeling as I was looking at each face, I was feeling energy with you that you're at a breaking point of changing how you're sensing things. You've been noticing recently that you've been having some more events occur, that it's really the intuitive part of you picking up on it before it occurs.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Because I see you having things coming through loud and clear, and sometimes it's loud and clear, but you don't know where to put it, or at times that what does it apply to completely. And the bottom line really is you're just in that phase of learning to do that and having that ability to tap into that. And I feel to relax with it. When you feel things like that and they come through and you're not sure where they go, number one, just accept them. Don't try to take it apart and analyze it. Just accept it. Because the calmer you are in a sense of acceptance, the more it's going to come to you then in a sense of guidance. Because you need to put out the intent and energy that please show me what this really means. What does this really pertain to? And do it in a setting of intent and asking, and not a circumstance where I'm trying to push it to happen.
Okay.
And it's going to work better for you because you've had a few things come to you, and when you get into it, your mind gets into it, and oh my God, you just like your bulldog with a bone there. Just try to hang on to it.
Yeah.
And you do pick up very well, and I feel like you're learning to allow it to come through more and not feel such a restriction.
Mm-hmm.
And you've been thinking about it recently now. This is a little odd, but would you understand you've been thinking about this coming winter? You've been having thoughts about how you want to do and what you want to do for this coming winter?
Well, yeah, fall to winter. Yeah.
Because I kept seeing you trying to organize, almost like putting a calendar together. And it's like, I want to organize everything. And I see you really, working some thoughts over on that level.
Yeah.
And it may sound odd because we're just headed into spring or summer now, but I feel like that's been on your mind.
Yeah. I have to schedule classes and stuff, so I
Hmm.
always have like the next year ahead of me,
Yeah.
and it's weighing on me.
Well, I feel you're going to be able to bring balance to that, and I see it working better. But I felt this energy around you that that's the thought process you've been in. And in some ways, it becomes a bit frustrating because it's like, okay, how soon can I really move on this, and get
Yeah.
this underway? And I see it working just fine. And I feel like you have most of it already scheduled in your mind.
Yeah.
And would you recognize also there's additional schooling beyond what you now plan that you're sort of like debating on, but you're like halfway there on the idea of what do I schedule or plan beyond this?
Yeah. I'm just tired and I don't want to think of that.
Well, I definitely felt the energy with you, and I definitely saw you pulling back a little bit and feeling like I don't want to really like say work on that per se. But I want to say by you thinking that far ahead, it's making such a difference for you to be able to line everything up. And it's like I'm setting that sequence up, setting intent. Therefore, Spirit has room then to help direct and guide and line everything up for you. And then it's like domino effect. Everything lines up and clicks in order. All right. So
Yeah.
setting up that far ahead in thought is just fine.
Okay. Okay.
Just
Because
go
I've
with it.
had some like ideas and I'm just like, that was exhausting just thinking about it, but it would probably work.
Well, I see it working for you because I see you lining everything up more, but you're working with your mediumship in a different manner than what you did, say, even a few months ago.
Yeah. I'm working on um, empathy.
Well, I think that's a wonderful energy because you do feel it, it is there, but I feel like you're also recognizing the clarity of I can feel it, but I'm not letting it overwhelm me or taking it on. Because
Hmm.
you times in the past have taken it on and
Yeah.
actually had a difficult time shaking it.
Yes. Yeah.
And I feel you're learning to now take it on in the sense of feeling it, but not allow it to be something that sticks with you. You know, we move beyond that. And that's what I see really, really becoming in tune to more. That's like healing. I can give healing and I can share the healing and the energy levels there. And I'll feel things, what's going on in someone's body. But I also release myself from it. That it's the ability to step back from it then and say, okay, we've done what we needed to do. We were the channeling of energy for a little bit,
Hmm.
and that's over. And to really be able to release that and allow that to be free, and you're not carrying it. Because in the past, I feel you've carried it and sometimes had trouble shaking it off.
Yeah. The past couple months I've been working on that and these classes have helped and then other things like I've had a epiphany about like what self-care means to me
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I've been kind of dealing with shaking it off.
Well, I think you're shaking it off. It's working very well, and I see it continuing to work well. That's no problem.
Okay.
But I feel like you're in that transition of your own mediumship. So it's really good. Let it happen. It's working well. And you have a couple people around you that want to take up your time and energy that would divert you from working with your mediumship. Their belief system is a belief system that would look at that as something negative instead of something positive.
Yeah.
And I want to say, God bless them somewhere else, probably further away. You don't need that negativity there.
Okay. Yeah.
Don't let it get to you.
All right. Yeah.
Any
Thanks.
questions?
Well, my one question was I just recently found another new negative person.
Yeah.
And that person has, like, it's not someone I can just like burn the bridge. It's someone I have to work with at least for the next year. Um, and I was just like, I don't know if there's like things I should be doing to protect myself. Like, I I can't I can't discuss successes with this person because they take it as like a personal affront that they're not being successful when they are. So I just like I've overemphasized like how much I'm struggling so that they feel better
Hmm.
about themselves, and I don't know if that's like hurting my lesson, or I don't like, this has come around numerous times in different people and I'm wondering what this lesson means.
Well, the lesson very simply is this: there's a jealousy there that you're experiencing. And it's also a circumstance that there's a part of you having that in the past, and obviously you didn't get the whole lesson, and here you are having it again.
Mm-hmm.
And to a degree, you have some of this aspect locked into your life a bit where you have to deal with them for a period of time. So I want to say you love them where you can, when you can, how you can,
Okay.
and you enjoy the energy you do enjoy with them. And the other parts of it, I just see you becoming quiet and not admitting things or being involved in things where it has to be something that they would respond to or react to.
Okay.
And you're going to be dealing with it better because I see you being very successful in handling this. And I feel what it's doing is it's making you utilize your ability to keep the harmony and the balance. In spite
Okay.
of the little chaotic energy, you're keeping the harmony and the balance.
Okay.
All right?
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. God bless you. I'd like to go right here.
Richard A. Richard A.
Richard,
Yes,
hi, how you doing?
good. You?
Good. Would you recognize a short time ago you went through some really frustration feelings?
Yes.
Because I feel like this frustration energy, and I feel you're coming back out of it, but I feel like it really bothered you. That's like, I thought I was getting further ahead, or I felt like I was getting further ahead, and then it seemed like everything just sort of fell apart for a bit and it wasn't working.
Well, it's a pattern, I guess. It's not. It doesn't just happen once. It seems to happen periodically.
Yes. Well, that's what I was feeling with you was it was off and on, and it's a certain time span between, and you recognize it again. And I feel the next time this comes in, I'm seeing you recognizing that, okay, and setting the intent. What am I learning? What do I need to grow through? What am I wanting to understand? And I feel by setting that intent, I just see it really clicking like a light bulb going on, and you're going to recognize why it's occurring. And I see you cutting it back by at least half and not have it affect you nearly as much. And I feel the next time around, you're recognizing even more. And I feel pretty soon with it, it's gone, and it's not going to be the repeating cycle where it really drains you. Because I feel like you've actually gotten very fatigued at times over that.
Yes, yes, I have. But I'm learning to just go with the flow more and just trust, and whatever will be. Right?
Well, I feel it's working better for you, and I feel the recognition of it. And by setting an intent to have that clarity to see and understand, I think that's going to help a lot. because sometimes you feel really in a doldrum energy, and it's just incredibly draining.
Yeah, I get tired,
Hmm.
during the day at times, and
Yes.
um, part of it is because, well, I'm in a desk job, and desk jobs, get kind of monotonous after a while because I'm not up and moving around. If I'm up
Hmm.
and moving around more, then the energy tends to flow better.
Well, when you recognize you've been having some things happen, that at times you just step back from people and feel like, I don't want to be involved in all the energy of what's going on. I just really want to step back.
Yes.
Because I feel like your ability to put it at arm's reach and not allow it to be overwhelming and not allow it to take a toll on your energy.
Okay. Yes, I'm getting better at that.
I see it working very well for you. I see you bringing balance in a way that you're not used to, and it's a very good response to it. You're going to handle it well.
Okay. That's good to hear.
Any question?
Um, no, I'm going through another, I guess, job adjustment at the office. I'm going back to a position I used to have. It's just the way things are working out. So hopefully things will work out fine.
I don't feel a problem with it. I actually think it's going to work out fine. And would you understand where you've been? There's a certain amount of volatility with the people there.
Yes,
And your old job is like going back to something I would term cake. You can go back and do it. It's not an issue for you at all.
yes, that's true. It's
And
some more calming energy, I think.
yeah, well, I would term it you're out of the line of fire and you're not in line with all the energy and the chaotic energy. And I feel your ability to step aside and be the witness of what's going on, but not having to be right in the participation of what's going on.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. Yes.
I see it working very nicely because I see some people getting really quite negative and quite aggressive with some of the attitudes and manipulations they have. And I feel you're getting shifted to the sideline and not really being in the line of fire there.
Yes, that's true.
Enjoy. Spirit's taking care of you. This is not a negative. This is a positive.
Okay.
And to know that it's a blessing because it's taking you out of the realm of all that energy and confusion going on.
Okay, good. That's what I thought. I just wanted confirmation of that. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. God bless you. You take care. Right down here.
Okay. Leanne.
Leanne.
Hi there.
Hi, may I come to you?
Yes.
All right. You know, you can analyze things to you, wear the paint off of stuff.
Yes.
And I feel an energy with you in an emotional manner. You've been going through a period where the emotions have been up and down like a roller coaster.
Mhm.
And you've been noticing recently that you've actually felt like your tolerance has gotten really thin.
Yes.
It's like, I don't want to put up with nobody. I don't want to put up with nothing. It's like, leave me alone.
Mhm. Yes.
And I feel like what's happening here is you're rising above where you were in your ability and understanding spiritually, and
Mhm.
you're rising above it. Therefore, your tolerance for things that are lower than that or less than that are not really good. And I see you not putting up with some things that you before would have.
Mhm.
And it's actually a good transition. And I would say the frustration you're feeling is really a warning to you to say, this is where you're needing to be aware of stepping away from it and being above it and not allow it to take over. Because in the past, it could overwhelm you and you could be actually quite fatigued over it.
Yes. It's whatever is going on. It's causing an anxiety that I'm not used to.
Hmm.
It's different. I don't quite understand what's happening, but yeah, you're touching on it definitely. Mhm.
Well, I feel the energy with you of tapping into the idea that you have a lot of people around you that is not as open to these beliefs as we've shared here. And
Mhm.
I find that it's wearing on you a bit, that it's like people function in such a mundane manner and in
Mhm.
such a draining manner. And
Mhm.
it actually fatigues you to be in their energy and listen to them. And I would term it going on and on and on. And I
Mhm.
just see you looking at it at times and thinking, I just want to put corks in my ear and I don't want to hear it.
Yep. Exactly. Mhm.
And I feel an energy with you that you're beginning to keep it at arm's reach easier and better. And it's something that's becoming a better energy in an emotional manner for you.
Okay.
And how old is the gentleman in your life now?
46.
Would you recognize him having a difficult energy with a working environment?
Very much so. Yes.
Because
Unfortunately.
I just feel completely stressed. I mean, like massively stressed. And he's at a point where he knows he has to keep the job. He knows he's got to keep it going, but
Mhm.
it's just making him crazy.
Yeah, it's a bad situation at the moment, and it kind of came out of nowhere. Yes,
I
you have
I
it.
feel complete surprise.
Mhm.
Complete surprise.
Yes.
I feel with him, the one evening he came home and he made a comment that he didn't even know what in the world happened.
Mhm. Yeah, you're exactly right. The business we owned for 20 years, we've rented. We've rented the building itself. The owners sold it, and we had 2 weeks to get out. And we've been there 20 years.
Hmm. Because I
Yeah.
just feel it through him so much that it was like just a bomb went off, let's say.
Mhm. Yes.
Now you're out of that building now?
Today was our last day. We actually, that's probably why I look a little tired. Today was our last day of moving everything out. Now we're just kind of in the what's next phase. Yep.
Well, would you understand you're thinking of continuing the business?
Yeah, we just don't know what direction to go with it at the moment. This happened so quickly. The concern was just to get everything out and wrap up the business we were doing. And yeah, we're just a little lost at the moment.
What kind of business is this?
Auto body.
I feel a door opening that there's another building that was not at all for auto body, but it would fit the need. And I feel it already has garage doors and that type of thing. You know, it's no problem. And I
Okay.
feel there's going to be an opportunity here to actually have a bigger space than what he had normally had.
Hmm. Okay.
And I also see it cheaper in a sense that it's not going to be a huge overhead.
Right. That's good
And
to know.
I feel the door is going to be open for that very shortly. He's going to hear about it word of mouth. And I feel enough parking that there would be no problem for parking. Because would you understand there was a limitation on some parking?
Where we were, actually, there was, yes. But we
That's what I
worked around.
mean.
Yeah, very much so.
You had to almost shuffle cars in and out at times because we didn't have enough room for the parking.
Right. We had a hard time getting the tow truck in and out. Yes.
Yes. I feel the new place, I feel I can drive in one door and I can drive out the other door.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
I feel the one door is on the front and the one door is on the side. And I feel I can drive in, back it into a bay or whatever I need to, drop it
Mhm.
off, and it's fine. And I feel it big enough for a tilt bed to drive through where it can drive in the building and drop off what you need to drop off, and it'll
Mhm.
be fine. And I keep seeing wheel lifts where you put it under the wheels and pump it up and just roll the car anywhere you want to. I
Yep.
feel the energy around that of it being very handy. Excuse me.
Hmm.
The floor
Okay.
is very flat. I don't feel, like ups and downs or stages or steps. I see it as very flat.
Okay. Wow. That's awesome.
And I felt an energy there that I could see him wanting to put in some equipment, but I see him starting out with a bare minimum of getting it open and get it running. And then,
Mhm.
then we can gradually add some equipment because
Mhm.
you do have some equipment and that you already got out.
Right. A lot of it belonged to them, like the lift and the paint booth, all that belonged to the building. But we
Yes.
took everything else we could. Yeah. Mhm.
Well, see, I get the feeling here at the paint booth, your husband knows how to do a paint booth where it's a quality and it can be done and done right.
Mhm.
And I also feel the lifts that you don't have to dig a hole in the floor for, but you can put them on the floor and bolt them down.
Yeah. Mhm. Wow, you're really good.
And I see it working for you, and it's going to be fine. And I feel when you come across this building, the energy of it is really nice. I like the energy of calmness. I like someone that owns it, where they would say, listen, if you want to buy it or lease it or whatever, it's like I see them being decent about you guys getting started. Because some of the big pieces of equipment you haven't had that would be yours, you know.
Right.
And that's where I see as an investment putting these things in that you really do need.
Mhm. Wow, thank you.
And I feel very calm with it. Your husband, he gets a bit depressed about things because at the moment I feel like my head is spinning. And it's like he really has a hard time, let's say, gaining calmness enough to look at things and say, okay, where am I?
Yeah. Well, he's been at this for so long, and I mean, 20 years, that's a long time. To
Yes.
have 2 weeks notice that it's over, it just kind of came down really quickly. And he's not been feeling good, of course. So it's been tough. We've just been focusing on one step at a time and just getting everything out. But like I said, today was our last day. We got the last of it out. We turned in the key, and that was that. And here I am.
Well, I feel good that you're on track. And what I feel here now, I think your husband may have a hard time believing this, but I want to say, in the midst of the craziness, I feel things are going to line up and work for you in a good way. And I feel it won't be long at all before this other place is really a dimension that you're going to walk into, and it's like, my God, we can afford it, and it's nice. And I could see you also having a company that would actually set up a payment plan to get some of the equipment you need.
Hmm. Awesome.
His
Thank you.
reputation is good, and the business reputation is good.
Hmm. It is. He's worked very hard for it. Yes.
And do you realize that they cut you out of the building because they have somebody else for more money?
Yes, it was a cash buyer that came in, and we couldn't compete with that, and it sold for a lot of money, so we wouldn't have
Yes.
been able to do it no matter what. Yeah.
Yes. Because I
Mhm.
see big money, walk in, boom, gone.
Yep, that's what
And
happened.
I want to say, you're all right. Your husband's all right. No panic necessary. And I feel that this other building will open up to you very shortly. Just set intent on the harmony of guidance, asking for the guidance to take you where you need to be. You could be driving by it and pull in the parking lot and know you're at the right place. So just
Okay,
take your time with this.
I will. Perfect. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I heard a lady in spirit say she wasn't expecting that.
No, no. I wasn't. I was just sitting here so quiet with my head in a whirlwind from everything that happened today, and you called my name. I thought, "Oh boy."
Well, I really feel the two of you are going to do fine, dear. I don't feel negative. And please share that with your husband because he's been a wreck.
I will. He's downstairs. I'll tell him.
All right. God bless.
Thank you.
Jane. Jane.
Jean, thanks.
Gene.
Hi there.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing.
Would you recognize recently that the leg and net is doing better now than it was?
Oh, a lot.
Because I feel more movement than what you've had for quite a while there.
Yep, it's getting pretty good.
And I see it working well, and I do see the healing energy there. How old is your mother?
She's sitting here. She's 94.
Would you recognize with her that she's made comments to you about either feeling spirit or sensing spirit?
She has, but she doesn't believe.
Well, I know she doesn't believe, but I want to say the ones on the spirit side of life believe, and they're with her. And I feel it freaks her out a bit to
Yeah.
have some of this contact because a part of her is like, well, I've believed all my life the way I've believed. And all of a sudden I have something happen that to a degree, I would say she really doesn't at times think she can believe, because there's a fear there of opening up to it,
Right.
a whole new world. And they're watching over her. And I feel a lady in spirit that when she passed, all her organs in her body were shutting down. She had a very difficult time passing because everything was shutting down.
Hmm.
And I see her with your mom and watching over your mom. And I see your mom beginning to have some dreams. They're going to be dreams of those in spirit. And it's going to freak her out a little bit that it's like, why are they coming to me in these vivid dreams? How come I can talk to them in the dream? And that's what they're going to be doing, is letting her know that they're with her.
Yeah, she doesn't know some of them,
Mm-hmm.
and that's
Well,
pretty good.
I feel family, and I feel that there's times she's not quite in tune to some of the energy there as to who it is, but I feel they know who she is and they're there for her.
Hmm. I would let her hear this, but she can't hear well.
That's okay. It's something that I feel you can explain what you need to explain,
Hmm.
and that's fine.
Yeah, we're going to try to make a trip. I don't know, up to Michigan, and she had a dream about that. So she didn't. I don't know if it wasn't a particularly pleasant one. She was on the
Yeah.
road.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, I feel an energy there. I don't feel negative.
okay.
I see the door opening for her to have more harmony on the trip, and I see the trip being ultimately a good thing,
Hmm.
and her being able to communicate with people that she hasn't seen or talked to for a little while.
You don't see any negative physical effects from going up there, sitting in the car.
I see her being extra tired, but I mean, I don't see something where I would term it illness.
Hmm.
And with you, I feel like you're really coming back around now and beginning to feel more motivated in your energy.
I am, but it's like I have all these roadblocks. We have had horrible storms here.
Mm-hmm.
And after like 3 or 4 days of that, there was an animal that ripped a hole in my roof trying to get out of the water and the rain at like 2 in the morning, a week and a half ago. So I got that plugged up, but I think I know that there's a mouse that got in because I didn't know it was a hole up there right away. So
Mm-hmm.
now it's having a field day in my family room. So your comment about, the problems that we have in the earth plane are not important. I mean, this thing is like driving me over the bend. It keeps taking the bait and I just can't seem to get it.
I feel you're going to be able to get it. I'll put it this way. I see you getting it and you bless it, but you bless it somewhere else. And I want to say in this case, I think it's going to be blessing it to heaven. But I feel the energy there that I think it's going to work out fine.
Do you think that'll be soon? I've been trying for like 3 days and I'm just humiliated. It keeps taking the cheese and I tried peanut butter and, it's just not working.
Well, I get the feeling here of you having something else you're going to use, but I see it being in spirit, and I see it being in spirit quickly. Whatever's going to happen is going to be fast, and I see it then being, no more problem. But I feel that's going to be fine.
I hope so, because honestly, I'm going to have a nervous breakdown if I don't catch this mouse. It's so awful.
Yeah. No, I see things working better, and I see it being easier. And would you recognize there's a little difficulty around your son in communication?
Hmm.
Because I see him having difficulty with communication, and I feel an energy with him that he gets really edgy and upset when things are not lining up in the manner he wants.
I could relate to that.
And I see working things out better for you, and I feel like you've come to a conclusion with work that I can only do so much,
Hmm.
and that's how much I do, and that's it. I can't keep pushing beyond that.
Yeah, I mean, you can kill yourself doing that. I like to get my own business going again, but I just, like I said, there's just so many roadblocks. It seems like this past 6 or 7 months, it's just, I'm exhausted.
Well,
And
I see a door opening that I feel it's going to work a little calmer at work, but I see getting something going that you could do on your own that would bring a lot more peace and harmony to you.
hmm
That's a good thing.
You see that soon?
Yep, I see it soon and it's going to work better.
That would be good.
And know that Spirit's with your mom and watching over her.
Yeah, we appreciate that. I'm trying to take your hints here and screen out everything else, but sometimes it's just really, I mean, I feel like sometimes when I do that, like you say, it gets harder to make that connection. I do the best when I'm not paying attention. It
Yeah.
just comes in. But
Yeah.
as far as meditation and things like that,
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to try to hone that better. And I don't know, maybe other people have this problem too, but
Well, I see you becoming more in tune to the relaxation and recognize when you're in tune and you really feel it and things are coming in clear. It's like I almost want to blueprint that feeling and energy so then I can recreate it when I want to.
yeah, it's like a totally peaceful feeling.
Yeah,
But
completely peaceful.
but it's hard to, you're like in a groove or something, but it's hard to bottle that, so to speak. I don't know how to recreate it then. It
Well, I
just
think you're
happens.
gonna, but by you setting the intent to do so, it'll happen.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, good luck with all that. I'm glad you're feeling better.
Thank you very much. And I'll tell her what you said.
All righty there.
All right.
Yes.
God bless.
We have
8 minutes.
8 minutes. All righty.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Which one?
this one.
Jessica.
Jessica.
She has no audio.
I can't hear you.
She has no audio.
No audio yet there.
Hello.
There she is.
Hey, there we are.
Hi. How are you?
Good, doing good. How are you doing?
Not so bad.
Good. Would you recognize in your life that you've been getting too attached to others in the family, that you're feeling all their energy and you're feeling all the turmoil they have, and you've been picking up on all this energy, and sometimes it's really been overwhelming?
Yes, like 3 days ago when I meditated, that time I smell perfume. And first I thought my mother, but I thought them shouldn't be. But the perfume smell getting very strong.
Yes.
And I ask who it is, but I don't get it. And then next day I got a call from my cousin. And then I got the information. My mother is a doctor announced like a month, but already more than a week. So she will be in less than 3 weeks. But since that, I couldn't focus anything because even the meditation, I don't know how.
Well, I feel an energy there of you needing to allow yourself to separate your energy from the ones around you love, because it's draining you and it's not helping them at all, and it's not helping you at all. And I feel in a prayer energy, you're going to bring more balance. It's going to be a better energy. But I feel like you've had that be a real turmoil to you to be going through that.
How
Where does your mother live?
Kyoto, Japan.
Would you recognize there that it's something you can't really pick up and go right now?
That time I couldn't make a decision. I should go or not. But the last so many years I say I'm not gonna go when times come. And then now times come, then I confused what should I do. Even though go there, maybe she cannot recognize me or we have many family issues. Makes me feel I shouldn't be there.
Mm-hmm. Well, I feel your desire to be there and your desire to help, but I want to say, even if you were right there at her bedside, there's nothing you can do to change what's going on.
Yes.
And I feel that you can't afford to leave where you are and just jump up and take off. And I feel an energy with her that she's a very strong, stubborn lady.
Because I felt I want to see her, but she the one, she doesn't feel, she doesn't care. So for me, I feel for them, I just leave them alone. That make I'm thinking.
Well, you have a grandmother in spirit, and the grandmother's close to you and loves you very much. And the grandmother said to me, Mother has never been a mother in a true sense of being a mother. And I feel you've always in your life felt I wanted her one day to be the mother, to be able to share as a mother. And you're looking at this as something that could be the end of her life. And you're worried that before her life would end, that this would never happen. And you were hoping that, there was always in the back of your mind that hope that things would always work better. And you're finding with her that she can be very negative in her attitude and her energy. And it's sort of sad the way she approaches things. And I just see you loving her where you can, when you can, how you can, and surround her in light and love, because on the spirit side of life, she'll grow, she'll understand, and she'll want to share. But on the physical side of life, she really is very resistant. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And I feel her spirit, not the conscious person, but her spirit, is here to learn some very tough lessons. And for you to be able to forgive her, because I see her a person that has never had the ability to be a mother.
And so that's why I thought that I shouldn't be there. But when times come and then my cousin, even though today they call me, always, are you sure this is last chance? You don't want to see her. They're calling me. That makes me feel, I don't know how to do. That's,
Well, let's say it this way. You already said to them that basically mom did not want to see you. And they're thinking if you force it, that it would work out. And I see respecting where she is and how she is and how she thinks, because I'm going to be bluntly honest here and say she's been that way for years. True? Can't take it on.
because like a day before my cousin called, I
Mhm.
smell like a perfume. And then after my cousin called, I thought it was mother. Or I wasn't sure. So that's why it makes me feel guilty. She wanna come to see me that when I smell perfume with doing the meditation.
Mhm. Yes.
But I
I
don't
see
know.
her I see her as a soul from the spirit side reaching out to you in a loving communicative manner because she's going to grow and understand. Right now, there's a part of her that has an attitude that's not the nicest.
So I don't need to go.
No,
Thank you.
you're welcome there. God bless you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And see, then Richard. Richard's got his hand up.
Okay.
Yeah, let me unmute him.
Richard.
Hello.
Hey, got your voice.
Question for you, quick one. I've been trying these unsolved uh, murder cases,
Yeah.
and I gave some information to one person back towards Missouri way, I think back that way, and then another one out here. I still have to get in contact with law enforcement. You see anything coming out of those? If my information is okay, or is it?
Well, I think he has some information that's good. I just feel an energy there that it's hard to find the people that are believers and more open that would really look at this as an acceptable way of viewing it or understanding it. And that's what I feel is frustrating at times is you're not only proving the information, but you're having to prove yourself to them.
Okay. Because the other one, a couple of days ago, she told me the location. I pulled it up on the map, and then I went through this, my things and everything, and told her it's between here and here, and this, and She goes, well, that's kind of where the police department are going, but they're over on the other side. And I'm like, no, that's the wrong side because I'm getting pushed to the left side in this grid section. And then I came up with a shoe lake, a shoe shaped of a lake. And I went back to the map, and there was like 6 shoes that looked like what I drew.
Mm-hmm.
And I gave that to her and drawings because I'm picking up drawings now that I could pick up. Still can't see or understand, but I could pick up drawings.
Well,
And
remember, you're experiencing what someone else is seeing. Therefore, it isn't something for you to understand, but it's for you to share. Because I find that when we're working with someone that's either in spirit or they have been somehow, let's say, drugged or whatever, there's times you'll pick up on their energy and they're understanding what they're seeing and you're relating what you're seeing. And to not think about it too much in the sense of really trying to understand it in the sense of you understanding, but have it there where you can give it. And I feel that'll make more sense to people then when they look at it. It's like having a message for the map and they look at the map and go, well, that does look like a shoe, you know, and to then they'll pursue that and understand what it is.
okay.
All right.
Yeah,
And
because I was like, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Others has also told me to get more into my psychic abilities to tone in that, I guess, to open up more
Well, I think
flow.
you're opening up more, but I feel an energy there that sometimes we try too hard. There's an interest of compassion to try to help someone, and you're trying to tap into what the circumstances are. And sometimes also, and think about this one. I've had it happen in many cases where they weren't supposed to be found at that time. So therefore, you weren't going to be given the information until the right timing was there. And when the right timing hits, all the information lines right up.
Oh, okay.
So don't feel that we can just get the information, have the answer, find the person or the problem, and it all lines up right then. Because sometimes it's not supposed to, because other events are affecting that whole circumstance.
Okay.
But you're doing good with it. Just relax with that and allow it to be.
Okay.
All right?
All right. Appreciate it. Oh, another, sorry, quick one. Real estate. I know you said that I was going to be making hopefully some decent money. Quote, quote. But I have my dues coming up. You know, end of July, but they say they give us till August.
Yeah.
Am I going to have problems with that per se, or am I more focusing, not focusing, but is medium psychic more what I should be doing other than real estate per se?
Well, I think you're going to still stick with the real estate as an income, but I see you doing the mediumship and working with that more. And I feel that's gradually going to come in a lot stronger for you because you really put forth the intent and the effort. I think it'll grow.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Hey,
God
God
bless
bless.
all.
What's your name?
Nancy.
Nancy? Nancy.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How about you?
Good. You know, Nancy, you sit back and observe a lot of things, and you're very in tune to observing, but I feel like there's times Spirit pops things in your mind that at times you look at and think, well, why did that happen, or why did I think that or feel that? Because it'll come in real clear for you, and it's like there's not a connection to where it goes.
True enough. Yes.
And I see you being able to tap in, and I want to say, I'll term it this way. Let's learn to take the next step because you're feeling it, it's there, it's strong, but you're not necessarily knowing where it fits. So you're needing to relax with the idea that now we've put out the thought of intent to Spirit. Now, I've already felt what you've given me. Now, I want to know where it applies. And put out that intent. And don't do it intensely where I'm thinking about it a lot. Just put out the intent and it'll pop in your head. And you're going to be surprised how much information will be coming through that'll be a form of guidance for you.
Okay, that's good. I've been wondering about that.
And I can see it working very well. I think it's going to be very nice. Also, Spirit made a comment about age, and they said it's been really hard for you to believe that much time went by.
Yes.
And I'm seeing you readjusting the idea of people, friendships, the involvement you have. And I see you stepping back a bit. And I'll say it in this term, I'm choosing more carefully where am I spending the energy and time here? Because there's been times in the past you can end up in the middle of stuff before you knew you were in the middle of it. And it really diverted you. And now I see you being a little more aware of where am I choosing to be involved.
Yes.
And that's actually working very nicely.
Yeah, I'm being more selective about people and places and lectures and things like that even.
I think it's working great, and please go with it.
Okay. Do you have anything about my health?
I see health working out better, but I felt energy
Okay.
with you. You went through a bout where they misdiagnosed for a while what was going on,
Yes.
and now they have figured out what was going on, and you basically have had work done on that already.
Yes.
I see it working better and easier, and I feel now it's a form of healing and to work with the healing energy to bring the balance back to the body.
Okay.
All
Yeah,
right?
my back's been killing me.
Well, I feel pain on what would be, I'm feeling left-hand side, which could be the right-hand side with you.
Uh-huh.
And I
Okay.
feel an energy there that something's out of alignment also in the spinal and rib area. Something's out of alignment. I'm not a doctor, can't prescribe, but something's out of alignment. And I would highly recommend going to someone that would be a chiropractic energy where they could put things in alignment. I feel like the electrical system affecting the low spine and one hip and one leg has been affecting you where sometimes you feel tingly.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
All right?
Thank you.
You're welcome, dear. God bless you.
Bless you.
I think we spoke to everybody.
Yep.
End of the show. 23rd of July will be the next class, and we'll do that at 7 o'clock, and we'll be broadcasting from Lilydale again. And love you guys. Enjoy. I hope you got something out of this that's meaningful for you. Thank you so much. God bless. Bye-bye.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bless.